Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
B16. Homecoming weekend. Be a tradition to toilet paper someone's house, TPing. Me and my two friends decided to go out and TP someone I hate. We drove to her house at 2 a.m. Get out of the car. Start looking around the place. Kinda eerie and quiet for a house near the busy part of town, but then again it was 2 a.m. About to start until my friend says that this might not be the house. Decide to leave and go TP some other house. Start to drive off. Me sitting in the back, two friends in front. We're coasting around. I'm looking out the windows to make sure no cops are around. Headlights are following us for quite a while. Tell friends that this car has been following us for the past about 8 blocks. A friend goes down foreign roads that no one goes down to be sure that this car isn't just coincidentally following us. Car keeps on following us. Fuck. We start to speed up, taking fast turns. The car is still on our ass. At this point my friends and I are spooked as fuck. We've managed to drive on about every road in town and they're still following us. We start honking for something in return. The car doesn't honk back. We drive down neighborhoods blasting our horn to maybe scare off the person driving the car, no use. We finally lost them after sharp turns and speeding through a neighborhood only me and my friend would drive through. Get to the end of the neighborhood to get back onto the main road. Coming out of the main road, the car turns into us and hits the front of our car. The car has its brights on. A friend starts frantically screaming. She can't see shit because of the brights. She puts the shit into reverse. We hit a mailbox. She puts it back into drive, and starts speeding off past the car. The car does U-turn in the road and starts following us once again. We're going 85 in a 40 miles per hour zone, passing 2 police SUVs, honking like hell for help. We're so desperate. The police don't even give a shit, they didn't even follow us. The car starts edging closer to the back of our car. It's tailgating us with its brights on. We can't see shit back there. I'm trying to get a glance at who's driving the car, no luck. The car is tapping the back of our car. I navigate my friend to drive to the only place in town that would be open this late, McDonald's. We showed up to McDonald's speeding in front of the car, so we were ahead by probably half a mile. We dash into McD's and start crying while watching outside for the car. Nothing for a good 10 minutes. At this point the Mickey D's workers think we're crazy as fuck. They give us free sodas without question. We finally start to relax, thinking it's finally over. Nope. Right as soon as we finish our sodas, the car comes into the Mickey D's parking lot. All of our fears have returned. The car is parked at the back of the lot. Eventually the car's headlights shut off, like the driver was waiting for us to not see them. We wait hours for them to leave. Many soda refills later, the car finally turns on its headlights and creeps towards the exit. We still wait an extra hour, making sure they're gone for good. After an hour, we got inside our car with our hearts pounding and started heading to my house to sleep. As soon as we got out of the Mickey D's parking lot, the car was there again. Fuck. We are screaming our heads off at this point. We speed through another neighborhood that only we would know shortcuts for. We get towards the end, and once again, the car turns off the main road and hits the front of our car. My friend puts the car in reverse. We back up the whole neighborhood, about half a mile long back into a driveway. A friend wants to just bang on the door and ask for help. Fuck no, I'm not getting out of this car. Convince friends that we need to stay in the car, and just go to the police station. We blast out of the driveway, making our way to the police station. The car chases us the whole way down to the station. After vigorous turns and speeds, we drive there, realizing they're closed inside at 4 a.m. What the fuck? Decide to hightail it back to Mickey D's. We arrive back at McDick once again, shaken, scared and once again crying. Car sitting out there watching us again. Luckily, me and my friend have police officers for dads. I decide I'll call my dad, even though he'll be pissed at me for sneaking out. Call up dad bawling on the phone. He shows up to McDonald's, sporting 2 pistols. I don't know shit about guns, his police baton, a high-powered flashlight baton, and of course, his badge. Dad steps out of the car in uniform. The car suddenly makes a dash for it, speeding out of the McDick's lot as fast as light. Dad buys us all cheeseburgers and drinks while we all cry telling him what the car looked like and what happened. Weeks later, I had my dad search the car license plate. Yes, I got the license plate. When they hit our car the first time, turns out it was a 64-year-old man who had charges for drugs, meth, and assault. I haven't driven past 10 p.m. since.
I have a story that is fucking spot on similar. About 12:30 a.m. chilling at my mom's house playing some video. Little brother pops his head out his bedroom door.
Yo bro, will you take me to Shell gas station? I wanna buy one of those big ass sodas they have.
Don't really want to, but fuck it. Why not? Gas station is literally right outside my neighborhood. Takes 2 minutes to get there on bike. Start my truck up and we head out. Bro gets his drink, takes a left-hand turn and starts heading home. To get home is a bit longer because the gas station is in an awkward spot. Can't take a short way back because a bullshit medium is in the way. Pass the high school and pull up to the 4-way stop right outside my neighborhood. Car with brights pulls up straight across from me literally out of nowhere. Don't think much about it, but I keep an eye on it because I got a little wigged out. Drive all the way down the street and just about to turn down my lane. Fucker is still sitting there. I take a slow turn down my street watching this fucker the whole time. Sure enough, as soon as I get around the corner, out of the corner of my eye I see him accelerate. I pass by my house just in case he turns down my corner. As I come up on the turn I see this guy turn down my street, except he turned all of his headlights off. Fucking goosebumps just writing this. Fuck no. I peel my truck out and turn around my neighborhood streets going 55. This fucker is right on my tail, with his brights on at this point. I'm Tokyo drifting around corners, scared shitless. I think to myself, dude, these are probably teenagers, it's Saturday. I calmed down a little. I lost him and am now on the main road. Calm down more. Fucking car comes out of a neighborhood outlet. I get a spike in my stomach, but I'm more chill than before. They're just teens. Pull down the street towards the 4-way stop from before. Car is fishtailing behind me, zigzagging like an asshole. Car is fishtailing behind me, zigzagging like an asshole. Fucking teens, man. I fucking hate teenagers. I tell my teenage brother. I'm getting pissed now. Coming up on a 4-way stop. I decide, fuck it, I've had enough. I pull up to the stop sign and wait for the car to pull up. He gets in the turning lane. We are both right next to each other, with him to the right of me. I roll down the window ready to yell and probably beat some 16-year-olds up. Car rolls down its window. It's a fucking grown-ass man. Mexican. With fucking face tattoos all over. Brother yells.
Get the fuck out of here.
I had the pedal down to the floor, reaching about 80 down the street. Think I lost him. Go back and pull into my driveway, shut off the lights and book it into the house. Feel a bit safer when all of a sudden I hear honking outside my house. Look out the window shade and this guy is turning his car in circles in front of my house, honking and laughing, this maniacal laugh. Fucking call cops, and while I'm waiting for them to come he zooms of before they arrive. The cops watched the whole night down my street. Top 5 scariest things that's happened to me.
This happened about 15 years ago, when I lived in Montana. Be a teenager. Driving home after running some errands. Live way out of town in some woods. Sun going down. A car suddenly appears behind me. Going too fast, flashing headlights. Time to go. Start speeding so this asshole doesn't crash into me. He goes faster. He's right on me, flashing his lights like crazy. What does this guy want? He speeds up and pulls up beside me. It's a deranged-looking old man. Speed up more. His car passes mine and swerves in front of me. Slam on brakes as hard as possible. The car nearly slides into the old man's car. He opens the door and starts staggering over like a zombie. Lock doors quickly. A guy starts yelling shit at me. Doesn't even sound like English. He looks dirty and strung out. Roll down the window a few inches to hear what he's yelling about. A muscular arm reaches through and grabs my face. Panic mode. Try to roll up the window. Accidentally roll the window down more. A deranged guy lets go of my face and starts reaching for the lock. Full reverse. A deranged guy gets dragged 15 feet with his arm in my window. Roll down the window more. He falls on his face and just lies there. Keep backing up for like 50 feet. Turn the car around. Speed away like fuck this. Drive into town and stay at a friend's house. Not driving back home in the dark tonight. Drive home the next day. No sign of the deranged man or his car anywhere. Never see him again.
Going for a cross-state drive for the hell of it. About a week in which nothing crazy happens. Some weird unsettling stuff, but if you ever drive around an entire state you'll see that kind of stuff. Been driving and sightseeing all day, kinda tired and my back is killing me. With the road looking like OP's pick, I decide to pull off into a secluded truck stop area on the side of the road. Stretch out in my truck's bed, listen to music, eat, and read. So serene I fall asleep until it's dark. Decide fuck it, I'm sleeping here and I'll get going again in the morning. Get in the driver's seat, lock the doors, get my knife and fall asleep, only to wake up again in an hour having to piss. Having that struggle of being so comfy I don't want to get up when I see something shift in the tree line. Damn it, if it's an animal I don't want to get stuck in here having to piss all night, so I turn on the headlights. Some guy in Halloween rabbit suit, like the one from CSI, not looking at me but walking by. He turns to me and just stares. I'm thinking I might be lucid dreaming, so I pinch myself. Nope, this is real. After a few seconds he starts walking towards the car. Turn it on, do a donut, and speed off onto the highway doing 70. The creepiest thing to happen to me, and I've done a few of these road trips. I'm thinking it was just some bats hit homeless guy or maybe some kids pulling a prank, but that's a lot of commitment, walking around the woods off a highway at night, for a fucking prank.
This was a few years ago. A friend is driving with GF in shotgun and me in the back. Driving back to town from the beach, my friend decides to take the old quarry road for spooks. The road is a 2-lane road with many turns and bends in it. See like 2 other cars the entire way down the road, probably a good mile all in all. Speed limit 25, we're all high off the blunt, so cruising nice and easy. Pass a beat-up junker and a dirt bike on the side of the road with 2 folks standing around. About 10 minutes later take a sharp turn that hangs left and then immediately right. See a man standing off to the side of the road, no cars, bikes or anything. We are probably a good mile or 2 from any type of home that I know of, passing it off as a homeless in the wildies. Make mention to the other 2 in the car, both deny having seen the second man on the road. Start tripping slightly, the road is very narrow and although he was a little bit in the trees they still should have seen him. They reiterate not seeing him, probably just me being high as a kite. I can still remember to this day exactly what he looked like, even to his clothes and his face. Shrug and go back to enjoying the scenic route. Weird.
got pulled out of my truck when I was in 11th grade. Nothing really para-freaky. But I was driving home late one night after dropping a friend off across the county. It was late and I drove a 4x4 with a lot of extra lights on it, because I liked it, looked cool and was bright as hell, so I took an old logging trail that used to cut through the center of the back country, but the bridge went out like 20 years ago, so you could only really use this road if you could drive in and out of the creek. So I got through the creek just fine, said hello to the gator that lives there, and was about 4 to 5 miles from the next county maintained road, and I was approaching an uphill curve. So, gearing down and getting ready to take the curve, which was really sharp and the road is shit, and I see lights starting to crust over it. There is like one, maybe two houses on the road before the creek, so I ease towards the right side and begin to lean over to turn off my lights when a Chevy S10 pickup crests and comes flying towards me. Picking self-preservation over the other driver's ability to see, I left my lights on and drove my truck into the ditch. S10 flies past and I'm all, what a dick, and get back on the road and continue. About 3 miles from the big road, I see headlights behind me, gaining ground. I'm driving a 4x4 with Mud Dog Pro Comp mud terrains, so I'm usually doing about 30 or 45 on these roads, but cautious as hell. So no one should really catch up to me. I wait for blue lights, because generally, it would be a deputy wondering why I'm out here. No blue lights. So, I sped up. I get up to about 60 before the first paved road. It's in the back of a small subdivision, but the lights are still on me still, so I say screw the stop sign and speed limit and speed up. I come up to the next road, which is a Georgia state highway, so I slow down, but the lights are almost right behind me, so I attempt to jump through a gear but overshoot and bog my truck down. Just as I get my shit straight and go to take off, the lights are pulling next to me. A mead logging truck, big paper company, speeds by in front of me, forcing me to slam on brakes, and the truck that has been chasing me slams into the rear of my truck. Joke's on him, the ball hitch on my truck put a huge hole in his radiator. It was that S10 that almost hit me earlier. Some old dude gets out screaming about calling the cops and grabs my door handle, but my truck is locked. My mom is a county deputy, so I'm all, hell, call the cops. That's your mistake, bud. But, being a dumbass high school kid, I forgot that since it's like September and 100 degrees out, my windows are down, so the guy reaches in, unlocks the door, and pulls me out. I grab the t-ball bat that I kept in the space between the door and my seat, but he rips it away from me and pushed me up against my truck. He quickly asks who my parents are, and luckily my parents are pretty well known around the county, my father being a building inspector and my mother the deputy, small as Middle Georgia County. He knew them by name. So he started screaming at me.
I'm gonna call your dad.
Which of course, I'm just like, oh, you want me to call them for you? Please call them. Apparently he was upset about my KC lights and wanted to let them know how generous he was that he didn't call the cops because of me blinding him as he was about to hit me head on. Phone call ends.
Haha. You're lucky that I have a son and I know that your parents will handle this.
He gets in his truck and drives off. Remember something about him having to call a tow truck due to the damage my ball hitch inflicted upon his radiator. So, I go home all freaked and whatnot and talk to my dad about what happened. My mom was going to get some deputies together and either arrest him or shoot him, but my dad talked her down. I explained to him what had happened. My dad told me that this guy is a convicted felon for shooting his wife in the back as she was running away from him. As the story goes, he told the deputies that arrested him that if he wanted to kill her, he would have shot her in the head because he knows how to shoot, which is in all reality true. He's a great shot. He's also a known cocaine and heroin abuser, possibly inbred, and just a plain stupid fuck. His wife is a school bus driver and stayed with him after he shot her. Yay, public education. Not really creepy, but at the time I was scared shitless. So many things I wish I would have done at the time, looking back, but I guess I was just lucky that he didn't kill me or some shit.
Riding around on my shitty old 110 cubic centimeters moped. Like 2 a.m. I used to work in delivery, so I know the city's backroads like the palm of my hand. Want to get on the other side of a highway. Decide to take a shortcut. Look around for an underpass I know is somewhere near where I am. I finally found it. It's in a really run-down neighborhood. A single street light flickering lights the entrance. The underpass is completely dark. Start questioning my decision. Come on, it's only like 50 meters. Head down the ramp. Moped's lights barely break through the darkness. I realize I can put on the high beams, they're not much better but will certainly help. Click. See a man just standing there in the middle of the underpass holding a piece of wood, staring at me. Slam the brakes. See movement behind him, realize there were more people laying down, now getting up. Fuck this. U-turn as fast as I can. Hearing running and something hitting the floor behind me. Clip my mirror as I was turning to get on the ramp to get to GTFO. Speed through back roads and alleyways. I was pretty sure I rode the opposite way through several one-way streets. Finally, calm myself down and head home. The moment I flicked on the lights and saw that man just stand there, I almost lost all feeling in my limbs.
Winter 2009. Driving home from a friend's house. About 9 p.m. Driving through town. See an old man sitting at a bus stop. Slow down for a closer look. He's easily over 80. Looks like he's freezing. No coat or anything. Pull over and walk over to him. Tell him the buses aren't running tonight. He looks up at me and nods. Offer him a ride.
Yes, please.
I help him into my car and we started driving. He tells me he lives not too far away. About a 15-minute drive. Try and make small talk. He's not talking, only sniffling. Turn up the heat a bit more. The entire ride he barely says anything. We pull up to his house. Drive as close as I can to the front door. He doesn't want help getting inside. I ask him if he's going to be okay. He turns to me and places his hand on my shoulder. Tears stream down his face as he barely whispers.
She found someone else.
He nods to me and gets out of the car. He stands at the front door for a bit before going in. Those words still haunt me to this day. It kills me to see such an old fragile man cry his eyes out and then say something like that. It makes me wonder what happened. Did his wife of many years cheat on him? Did his daughter leave her husband for someone else? I live in a small town where everyone knows everyone, so it was pretty easy to find info on what was going on. The man was a welder for almost 50 years. He did welding a few towns over, so was rarely seen in my hometown despite living there. His wife was alive and well during that time, however now both have passed away. I never did find out the full story, but those words will stick with me forever.
I'm 23 years old, right after finishing grad school. Living in the Great North Woods in a tiny town. Drive my little hatchback everywhere to see friends in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine and Canada. Long night-time drives are commonplace. Comfy in my warm car listening to Coast while it snows outside. Coming back from Portland, Maine and driving through logging country. Long unlit roads with half-raised pine forests and granite walls. The only car for literal hours is my own. Decide to slow down and take it easy because I'm rushing and caffeine hasn't kicked in yet. Look up at the night sky and see the Milky Way, so beautiful. Hear a car horn behind me. Pull over and let them pass. Massive tow truck blazes by, easily going 80 miles per hour. Decide to see what's up. Speed up to find wherever they were headed. Can't find a tow truck or catch up. They're really far ahead. Another 15 to 20 minutes pass before I see their taillights on the side of the road. The truck is completely abandoned. No signs of the driver anywhere. No buildings nearby. Tempted to get out of the car, but decided not to. U-turn and scope out truck again. See a path going into the tree line. Maybe the driver is through there. Look at the sky just above the tree line and see moving lights. No nearby airports or radio towers, too big to be satellites. Wait 15 more minutes coasting back and forth, no sign of the driver. Coast to Coast is talking about UFOs, and of course this is the most obvious answer. Apologize to the driver for his assumed poor fate and leave. Same town, same me. This time driving from St. Johnsbury, Vermont, and taking boring roads through old mill towns who are decrepit from post-industrial bullshit. Dozing at the wheel. Find a giant hotel that pops up out of nowhere, a huge lot, bright lights, and tons of clientele parked in the lot. Literally what luck, but feel shaky about getting a room there because I'm broke. Drive a little further to test my luck and see if I can find a place to get coffee instead, way cheaper. Cross a random bridge shortly thereafter and hit a patch of ice. The car literally fishtails across the bridge, taps rails on both sides, then does a full 360 spin. Wakes me up instantly. I immediately park my car. Leap from the car and kiss the ground. Lay back on the hood while my heart is beating like crazy and just thank God I'm still alive. That hotel is looking mighty good right now. Get back into the car and start driving back in the direction of the hotel. Drive for what feels like forever and not see the hotel. Same road I was on earlier, but I just don't see it. I realize I've now driven a half hour in the wrong direction and the hotel has pretty much vanished. Don't feel confident crossing the bridge again. Trapped. Pull my car over and decide I'm spending the night on the side of the road. Wrap myself in plenty of blankets and doze until sunrise wakes me up. Surprised I'm not dead. Back on the road, able to make it home okay. Not once did I see the hotel. Very strange night.
So about 16 years ago, I was going on a camping trip with the Boy Scouts. My father was driving, I was in the passenger seat, and my friends Dave and Alex were in the back seat. We were going on our 50-mile backpacking trip for a merit badge in Big Basin National Park in the Santa Cruz Mountains, California. We left late on a Friday after everyone was out of school. It was dark well before we got to base camp. The main road into camp was narrow, dark, and winding. It went right through a redwood forest and had no lights. It's about 9:45 when we go through the main gate. Our car was well ahead of everyone else as my father liked to drive fast. So we're weaving through this black forest when all of a sudden this white boar-sized hairless bear-looking thing jumps out in front of the car and we hit it and drive over it thump thump. My father pulls over, we sit there for a few moments and decide to see WTF we hit. The right front headlight was knocked in and pointing skyward, the grill was bent, no blood, and we looked around and no body. Everyone got flashlights out and searched the area. But there was nothing. We all saw it. It damaged the car and we hit it going about 35 miles per hour in a 74 all-steel heavy Volvo. Funny thing too, one of the other scouts in the trip who wasn't driving with us said they saw some weird white animal at night about 4 nights into our trip.
I'll tell you mine. I live in Hewland. My father took me every year to the Pantanal so we could go fishing. By fishing I mean he would do everything and I would just throw the line in. The place is completely composed of dead-ass dirt roads and small villages with a lot of trees and shit between. It was the 3rd time we went there. Heading to my dad's friend's house at night. It's a really long trip from where I live to there, about 6 hours. In the middle of the way we found 3 black ounces, I think it's called an ounce in English, standing still near a small lake. It's really unusual to see stuff like this since they are very territorial animals. Dad stopped in the middle of the road where we had a good view of it. He did not turn it off, just stopped. Dad rolls down the pickup truck window and turns on one of those tactical flashlights that can blind a normal person. They are just standing there looking at the other side of the lake. Dad turns off the car. What? Just as I'm questioning him about his mental health state, he goes, "Shish." Oh shit, I can hear it. The ounces are snarling and making their characteristic guttural threat sound that can't be properly described. Seriously, look that shit up. It's scary and goofy at the same time. What the fuck are they snarling at? Dad just points to the other side of the lake. A creature about 7 feet tall is standing right there. The lantern doesn't shine much light there because of the distance. But from what I can see, it has huge claws, like 15 to 20 centimeters, and is covered in black fur. Me and Dad see its eyes reflecting the lantern light as it looks our way. It gets on all fours and dashes for the woods behind it. The ounces stop snarling and run to the woods behind them. I asked Dad if bears were native to that region, and if so, why is it that his friend never told us. My dad's friend taught us about the fauna and flora of the region and how to survive when we went the first time. Dad tells me that there aren't beets in that region. He says that he doesn't know what the actual fuck was that. He starts the car and we keep going on the road. Just to explain the position, we were this dirt road circled the small lake, making a tangent with one of the sides, where the lake, the small clearing around it, and the woods it were visible. Also, we were on the half moon plus the lantern, so we had a pretty good visibility of the clear patch. We are going through the part of the road near the woods where the thing ran off. I'm looking at the pitch black woods since my dad was super quiet. 2 eyes reflect the light from the headlights in the diagonal of the car. When we pass it, I look at the back window and see it with the help of the backlight of the pickup. It looks very much like a bear, but the proportions are wrong. It is extremely thin in the arms and legs but has a huge torso. The face was absolutely black, not sure if from the lighting, but all I could see was that green glow from the eyes. Then it began chasing the car. Oh shit. My dad was completely oblivious to those 3 seconds I just spent looking at it. I yell at him to hit the gas. He looks in the mirror and sees the green dots. Dad accelerates and eventually the eyes vanish from behind us. We arrive at the friend's house and he looks at us like we are crazy when we tell the story. The rest of the trip was pretty normal, but I was shitting my pants at the slightest sound. Eventually we stop going there, but man, Paranoia at night is eerie.
Dad used to ride in a motorcycle club in the early 80s. Claims they only rode for fun, but I'm pretty sure they got up to some illegal shit. One time they were riding through Nebraska for some reason when they spotted a hitchhiker. One of the bikers stopped to give him a ride. They pull up about an hour later at a fast food place and the hitchhiker says thanks before walking off back the way they came. Bit odd, but they didn't care enough to go and find him. Dad has to turn back and head home as my mom was heavily pregnant with me. On the way back, he spots the hiker thumbing for a lift. He stops and asks what the fuck he's doing. Guy says something about how this road is one of his favorite rides. Lol. I feel you, bro. Dad lets the guy on his bike. 10 minutes later, the guy shouts for my dad to stop by a telegraph pole. Dad does and decided to check his fuel. Guy gets agitated and screams at my dad to leave. Dad notices a bit of tarp under the dust. Asks Guy what's under the tarp. Guy pulls a shovel from behind the pole. Dad gets back on his bike and reports the dude to the police. My dad never had an issue with the cops, and this guy was mental. Turns out the guy had murdered his wife, buried her by the telegraph pole, but wanted to exhume her and bury her again further away from the road. Later that year, my dad was caught riding whilst drunk and my mom stopped riding motorbikes altogether.
This actually happened to me about a month ago. I get up every day around 5:45 and leave for work around 6. Usually see no one out at this time ever. Pull up to the stop sign and the small red car in front of me. Big dude gets out and starts walking towards my door. Grab my 45. Ready to make MSNBC, Fox and CNN for the next month. The closer he gets, the less crazy he looks. Motions me to roll down my window. Fuck it, he looks just like me on his way to work, tired as fuck. I oblige and roll down the window. He says turn slowly and look behind, about 3 houses down. Some creep in all black is just staring at us. Dude at my window says he has seen him wandering in front of his house and others randomly for the last few weeks, but the dude always vanishes. I present my 45. Put my truck in park and me and my new friend go see who the creep is. The closer we get, I can tell that this guy is jerking off. I raise 45. And tell him I will shoot him right in his privates if he moves. New friend calls the cops. Creep happens to be a registered offender, home invader, and attempted murderer. How the fuck is this guy not permanently in jail somewhere? In the end, my new friend and I hang out now and cook out with our families. Good to know my neighbors are watching out for one another.
This happened roughly 6 months ago. I work as an armed security guard. Get relieved from my 8-hour shift. Work in the industrial district of my town. I'm tired, and it's late, around 2:30 and 3 a.m. Start driving heading towards the freeway to head home when I notice a car is following me without its headlights on in my rearview mirror. I continue driving home like regular while still tracking this car following me. I eventually head down my street. It ends in a dead end. The car is still following me and it's been about an hour's drive. I pull over in front of my house and I'm a bit scared because this guy's been following me for a while. I turn off my car, place my right hand on my pistol and open my door to face the other car. I come around to see nothing, as if nothing was there in the first place. Skidder into my condo faster than I have ever done before. This is the only time something like so has ever happened. I cringe a tiny bit every time I think about it.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.